Hello everyone, and so on this previous Friday, I got to see Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and of course, in this movie you got Millie Bobby Brown, Kyle Chandler, Via Farmiga, and those great actors, and of course, Super part of Monarch, and of course I don't want to give too much of the story away, but growing up as a kaiju fan, and as a Godzilla fan, as one of one of my friends from childhood showed me the Godzilla films, and he showed me those films, and we both kind of just fell in love with that franchise. Even though I haven't seen those movies since, except probably the first Godzilla itself, which still holds up. Pushing with the sense, and of course, a lot of critics aren't liking this movie, and all of that, regardless, all the critics and all the movie critics are saying it's not that great, but what would the Godzilla fans think of this movie? And while I personally can't speak for any other fan, I'm just speaking from my own angle and experience. This honored the kaiju films beautifully with such heart, a grace, and a skill to it that makes it so touching, beautiful, vibrant, and a true sense of whimsy that no other modern blockbuster will take. Like, when you see modern franchises now, they usually tend to be so play loose and freely with the material and play it so dead on. Seriously, it seems like there's no sense in between. And in this movie, they capture a true sense of horror, spectacle, size, whimsy, and fantasticalization of these huge epic proportion of monsters fighting within these intense moments within the moments of course, like these animals will change our planet. And a lot of people are saying that they're not liking the characters, they don't seem as interesting or as well written as others. I'll get to that, I promise. First thing, a lot of people are saying they don't like the story because it's doing what we said before, and I understand that and I get that. But when you talk about this franchise of kaiju and Godzilla, it's inescapable. This is a part of the franchise for so long, and it really kind of, excuse me, I'm burped. It really just kind of carried that spirit of escapes and of how the government will react to this with Muto and all the incredible technology that they have in this films, and how they will tend to carry out with what it really is to be like in the franchise like this, and it really kind of carries so much beauty and weight. I will admit the story at times can be pretty confusing and elongated and doesn't make much sense, and I will admit the characters aren't too great, but okay, I'll talk about that first now. I admit that the characters themselves aren't well written, but the performances have such weight, power, and gravity, and gravitas to them that really makes the performances worthwhile. Like, Via Farmiga plays the mom in this movie, and I think she's really beautiful. I think. My personal favorite performance is probably, for me, at least, Millie Bobby Brown, because she added so much vulnerability, charm, and sincerity to her role that really makes her really relatable within the situation of her family, what they'd experienced before, but also of what she has feared to lose, with her mom gaining sympathy from a certain angle, and what is needed to be done with these monsters, but also the government's handling this, and all this, and at least for me, I found myself getting wrapped in this because it felt like, again, these are the same type of themes that resonated before but needed a modern update. And this film was directed by the same person who done Trick or Treat and Krampus, and I really enjoy both of those movies. And this movie really does capture his sense of style, crass, and wit. And while not to the same degree as those two, it feels like it's kind of ultimately a bit held back in order to really show the sense of tripping all over my words today, of spectralization and broadness and beauty of the atmosphere and beautiful perspective. I love how this movie perfectly kind of grabs both the identity of Godzilla and Kong Skull Island. Like, it grabs the spectacle, the grimness, and the cinematography of Godzilla, but also captures the broadened, witty, almost wacko type of side of, and the visual flair of Kong Skull Island, and beats it together with this beautiful sense of ease together. And now, granted, not all the characters, I will admit, not all the characters worked well, although I do personally really like Bradley Whitford, as his character seems so weird but fun. Like, and Charles Dance plays this terrorist of a character who I found very engrossing. Also, Ken Watanabe, I always love seeing him in these movies. I will say, at a certain point, as much as there was this wrapped up in this movie, there's a point in my head where I'm like, where is Sally Hawkins' character? I haven't seen her in a while. What's going on? And I will admit, like, Thomas Middleditch's character, some of it, like, certainly, I will admit with one thing, the comedy doesn't work all the time, but at least when it does, when the comedy does happen, it's like, okay, we move on quickly from that on to the next scene. So at least I can forgive some of his the movie, the comedy doesn't work all the time, so the movie just kind of swiftly moves on and has these beautiful, powerful, awe-inspiring shots. A moment of Godzilla just rising out of the water, or King Ghidorah and his three heads having great sense of personality and spectralization that really come to life. And I love that. You know, that really brings me back. And I love the Rodan is great. Although Mothra is beautiful. Like, that's there's two. For me, I could do like a top 7 or top 10 moments of this movie that really made me go. That really have my jaw on the floor. When it comes to like pure spectacleized action, this and John Wick are like the two best this year so far. They are incredible. They are so beautiful, so well choreographed. Some people do kind of question, why the cinematography is so weird when it gets to close-ups of the action scenes. I will say, at least it does try to put you in the perspective of the humans, so they can see that type of angle from the angle of their actions from the humans as well. And at least I can see that what they're doing there, and I actually kind of like that. And as far as I can understand the problems, and I understand why critics won't like this, it's a very weird, zany movie that kind of has a certain, as I said, panache to it, and a true sense of identity that really does work well. It takes what both Kong and Skull Island and Godzilla got right, and melds them together within this with such a beautiful, touching story of man interfering with nature and with such interesting and fun characters that I really enjoyed. Granted, I agree they're not really like well in depth or anything, and I will admit that the story kind of gets a little convoluted, but there's some character motivations that aren't so great. But again, the engrossment of the world had me invested enough, and the pure weight and the gravitas of the actors had me engaged for the most part. So I like that. Also, the effects, the textures, everything looked incredible. It may not be a perfect movie, and I understand why critics may not like it. I really do. I can sympathize with that to a great degree. But as a kaiju fan, and as a Godzilla fan, it honors the hell on this material. And I can truly say to the director, Michael Dougherty, that's his name, Michael Dougherty, that he really, in my opinion, he kind of captured a near perfect Godzilla movie in my mind. Like, again, it's not a perfect movie, but I do feel like it's, for what it's worth, it captures such a spirit, a style, a vibrancy, a beauty, and such a tribute to the classic era of Godzilla monsters, while still being its own thing, with its own signature. With his own sense of beauty and wildness that really kind of brings me back to the classical age of these beautiful monsters of the 50s and 60s, of their own kaiju proportions, and how it honors them so beautifully. And for me, it's just, like, after seeing the movie, I was just kind of like, wow, what the hell did I just watch? I was so blown away by it. And any sign for me, like, whenever I go, I guess anyone holds this scene within their mind, is that what you witness is, if it's a good movie, then you continue to think about how good it was for the next few hours and or until the end of the day. It's a movie where you can't get anything out of your mind. I get there's wonderful little moments, and the movie just goes. I will admit, the movie kind of goes by so fast. Like, there is a, I can admit that it's long. It's a weird, like, 2 hour and 15-minute movie, but it kind of goes so fast. So I appreciate that, and so I liked that angle. And I just, oh my gosh, I love this movie. This isn't like me when it comes to, like, the Hobbit movies or anything. I don't know what it is, but there's something about this movie that it brought me back to, like, as a 7-year-old eating candy, just watching these on, like, a Saturday morning vibrancy to it. It's like, again, it's not a perfect movie, but it is a perfect own little stew of its own material. And with this, I want to end this on a great line here. Sometimes you can't always judge a movie for being a perfect movie, but instead you have to criticize it for how perfect it needs to be. It can be its own little mess. A movie can be a mess, but does it feel like its own little self? Or does it try to be something more than itself? And I do feel like, in my view, witnessing Godzilla, King of the Monsters, it finally found something new within these blockbuster movies that I haven't seen probably since Pacific Rim. And that's because, maybe one of the reasons why people don't like Pacific Rim, first, is because the characters aren't that great. And you can give the same argument here, but I can at least I forgive it because the performances add so much weight and magnetism to it that I really enjoyed, and I really loved most of these performances. Millie Bobby Brown, Kyle Chandler, Ken Watanabe has a beautiful moment with Godzilla. I really found it was beautiful and touching. I will say I did not say for the mid-credit scene, but at the end of the day, I just loved Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And in the end, I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it an 89%. And it's like a letter rating system for me, at least, it's an A-. Again, I am fully understanding for why critics don't like it. It doesn't make a lick of sense. It's too silly at times. But it captures such a great sense of spirit, and it honors the originals, and it takes the strengths of the previous two films and puts them in this movie. For me, it just hit every note it needed to be, and I loved it. And I will say, looking back at these two movies, I will say, which is weird because, like, when I did my favorite movies of 2014, I adored Godzilla. Looking back, I'm like, I'm kind of, that's actually one of the few movies I look back now in my reviews, in which my opinion has changed drastically. I don't hate it, but I do think at the time where I loved it, I now think of Godzilla 2014 as a mixed bag. I feel like these movies just kind of went better and better and better. And with this movie, it finally found a good thing. Which, the first two movies in my mind were fine, but had some divisive moments. This for me was at least their first great film. And even if critics don't think about it like such in such a degree, I remember this film being the first great kaiju movie of our era, and I will love this movie for it. And I love movies like this, where you feel like it's such a small, personal intimacy about it. And no one else can take that away from you, and I love this movie. Yeah. Until then, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I'm probably not going to do my top 5 Godzilla movies, now I'm thinking about it, because I haven't seen the majority of them in a while. But I will do my ranking of the MCU movies in this upcoming week. Till then, everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the future for more videos as always. Till then, thank you for being so patient. Till then, have a great day. Peace. Remember, he is a king of monsters.